How's it going all? My name is Dominic Moore, and I'm owner of More Leads and Solutions. Now today, I'm here to talk about how it is that success could possibly be calculated when you're looking at individuals who have gone from the bottom to the very explosively successful. From the people who have gone from dirt, nothing to having everything. Or maybe even the people that have a little bit of something, just a little bit of setbacks, and then they get past it in some manner or way. But they do it in different ways. So the biggest difference that I'm trying to put my finger on while I'm doing this is to figure out, is there some sort of, not calculation, but assessment and development of a plan that an individual can create and extrapolate upon onto their own life to be able to make their own pathway. Because everybody asks the question like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, but what should I do? A lot of dudes I talk to in the military, they always have 20 different things they want to do with themselves, yet nobody seems to want to focus on one thing, and they're afraid most of the time. It's FOMO. So fear of missing out. So I'm here just to kind of take my assessment on it. I'm not no way a professional or an expert at success. I've been successful at many different things in my life. And they have occurred based on this pattern that I'm seeing. And I just know I'm not where I want to be with myself. So I'm bringing it to y'all as people who may be successful, maybe you're not successful, maybe you want to be, and bring it to the public to see what it is that y'all think may be a possible correlation, if I'm right on the right path or if I'm on the wrong path, or what's going on and what you guys think about it. Anyways, it's just an idea too, so get my name out there, get a little bit of attention. It's always a good thing with my business and promoting myself. So here it is, right? The way I kind of look at it is the pendulum. So you got yourself, this is the correlation of your movement across time. And first you may start off over here. Let's say this is hardship. So this is hardship over here. You got yourself a little weight, holding it down. And for whatever reason, you had some hardship going on. If it was Oprah, you were raised in a very oppressive environment. You were told that you probably shouldn't do certain things because of who you are. If it's Uncle G, it's because you were told, hey, you should live a certain lifestyle. You should be a certain type of person, Don't speak out too much. Don't do things that are going to get you too much attention, right? And if it's somebody like Will Smith, right? He was raised in an area where it's kind of rough. People just didn't do certain things. You had to act tough, So each one of these people had a certain way of living in their hardship, had a certain mentality in their hardship, and over time, this pendulum, right? You just imagine it swinging over this way. So it moved over from hardship to success through a balance of what it was that they were told not to do, or what mentality they had before, or what mentality they had during their hardship. So if it was Oprah, she was told not to do certain things. What did she do? She went out there and she did it, right? If it was Uncle G, he was told, Grant Cardone, just to clarify so everybody knows who that is. If it was Uncle G, he was told not to speak out, not to be boisterous, not to be known, not to be heard, not to be playing around with money, not to be doing these different things. But when he became successful, he started to do those things, or maybe he started to do those things before he became successful. He became boisterous before he became successful to get his name out there. If it was Will Smith, right? He had to act tough in a certain style. Then over time, he became a lot softer, At a certain time in his life, he had to act hard, but then he became softer over time. He became more amenable to people around him, became more cordial and nice. So these are things that I've kind of been seeing, So when it comes to my own development, my own successes I've had, when it comes to being in the military, I've had certain group exercises where we were challenged and pushed. We were pushed to see, hey, are you willing to step up to the next level to be able to help the people next to you out? Most of the time, whenever people do things to aim for success, they think about themselves. But in the military, you have to think about others. So they take you from who you are, from what you normally do, which is think about self, think about what I'm trying to do, to giving to others. That's the exact MDMP, military decision making process. That's not the same thing. That's the exact decision making they're trying to instill into you, from going to thinking about self to think about the group. They're trying to break that and whip that out of you through the initial military training and through continuous reinforcement when you get to your unit. So looking at this, right, people are in a certain state before they get to where their goal is. It may not even be hardship, right? There are certain folks who become successful, but they're not necessarily going through a lot of explosive action, you know? They have maybe the normal guy around the corner, right? He lived a very, very, very calm, peaceful life. There's a guy I just met recently. He would label his life a success, even if I didn't label it a success. The guy loved his life. He loved what he was doing. From a young age, he knew, like, hey, I kind of wanted to do a few different things, but I settled down on one thing. I was going to work on the farm with my dad, right? His name was Ray. Ray lives out here somewhere in Jessup, Georgia. His dad was a farmer. He wanted to work on the farm with his dad, but his sister recommended to him, saying, hey, you should go work at the paper mill down the road, right? So he said, all right, cool, I'll go work at the paper mill. He took the step and he just went along with it gently. He didn't necessarily go like, hey, I'm gonna go out there and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff to try and get attention or do things. He just did it, right? And then over time, through those patterns of, not patterns, but through those, how should I say, incidents that kind of lined up in his life, he met a man who he worked with who introduced him to his wife. Then when him and his wife settled down, they still live in the same house, same place for like 50 years. They live in the same area for 50 years together now. He's about 80 years old. Out there still cutting the yard. He's in good shape. Him and his wife are still moving around doing a whole bunch of things, and his kids now live down the road from him, and they're doing pretty well too. They're doing very well. His grandson just got a job in Atlanta, and he's doing some sort of marketing or something like that online with a big company, right? So he is very, very excited about what he's done with himself. He has been successful, but his pendulum swing, right, from hardship to success wasn't as large. It was still a balance, you know? And that's what I think it is. It's a balance of your life. Not necessarily like work-life balance, but it's how should I say, to be able, once you get into a rut, right? Once you get into a rut, your wheel's in a rut, it takes however much force, the potential that's holding your wheel into the rut, it takes that much force to get out, right? To be able to get out of the rut, it takes that much force. So where these folks are at, it may be potentially, right, a reflection of where they came from, what it took for them to get where they're going or where they have gotten to. It may be a reflection of where they came from. If you see somebody who is very boisterous and very successful, they may have been told to be very quiet and very unsuccessful. They were very meek. If you see somebody who was very hard at this point, they may be very kind at this point. If you see somebody who is very dirty or poor, and over here you may see something opposite, right? If they feel like their life is a success. Sometimes a lot of folks they live in hardship and they don't necessarily even get anywhere near their potential. They don't know how to get near their potential. The rut that they had is maybe so great, or maybe they just don't have the right tools. They don't have the right competency. They don't have the right experience of leadership, the right mentality. They don't have the right people around them to guide them in their decision making, to be able to point towards their decision making. Or maybe they didn't listen to them, right? Maybe they had a hard time listening to the folks who they should have been listening to. All these things are very, very possible when it comes to going from where you are, let's not even call it success. hardship. Let's not call it hardship. Let's call it the beginning. At the beginning, they had this level of existence, this level of experience. This is the experience that they had in their life, the experiences. And again, maybe their beginning wasn't even all the way out here to the extreme. Maybe they didn't have an extreme beginning of being told many crazy things in life. Maybe their beginning was a little softer, maybe it was like a little bit easier for them to start off. And their success could potentially be right there for them. Maybe it doesn't shift too much. So, again, it's just looking at what is it that makes a person a success. And while we all can give more, while we all can devote ourselves more to the folks around us, our community, not every single person in the world will be able to devote themselves to the same level as Oprah, Grant Cardone, Will Smith. Not all the same people, not everybody in the world will be able to do that exact same thing. Their level of success may be to own a corner grocery store, maybe to own a gas station. Their level of success could become vastly different. So what does it take to get to their success, their potential? Because everybody can give more. Everybody can give more. There's always more to give, right? So what that may mean for them, for each individual person, may be what will be different, what it means for each individual person. And so if you'd imagine the pie chart right here, right? This is a pie chart where this is where your potential's at. This is where all the success in the world within you lies. You are this little circle right here. Now, what does it take to fill up the gaps? That's a gap. That's a big gap. What does that gap consist of for yourself, right? Is it education? That's why I've been told for a lot of years you gotta get educated. And it may still be that I need to get educated, but maybe just not the things I was told to get educated in, right? I do want to go to medical school. I do want to become the number one salesman that I can become, or number one salesman in the world even. Why not? I do want to become the person that is able to give back, and more than give back, show others how to accumulate their own. It's about the same story of teach a man and teach a man to fish, right? Or woman. Then you have, let's say it's education, right? You got ed. Then you have influence, right? Then you got influence, the people you know. Then maybe you got money. Everybody needs it. It's like a tool. It's a leveraging capability. You use money to leverage yourself into your projected success. Same as all these different things. Education is leverage. Influence is leverage. You use it to get to that success, right? Then you have people, right? People should probably be like people. How you use that influence, right? So how you use the influence you have, right? So influence could be getting people, but then also it could be getting people to do things, or influencing people to perform a certain action, but then having people in general just know who you are, or just having people work with you could be a different thing as well. And then the rest of it, you may fill in different gaps for many different things of what it may take to become successful. But what I'm getting at is that your potential is vast. Your potential is vast. And even some of these right here may not even grow like this. Maybe they grow in this manner, and then it builds off of this right here. Maybe you get a little bit of education on how to sell, and then you learn, hey, that's how you get the woman of your dreams. That's how you get the empire you're trying to build, right? And then it continues to go on and on and on. So that was all I want to talk about today. Basically just about what success could potentially be. Again, please leave a comment, subscribe, like, and let me know what y'all think about this idea that I have behind me. Anyways, take care, peace, love, and let's get some cash flow.